Well, hey guys, so how is everybody? I hope you're all doing great. Probably seen the title. We've shown this saw one little short video. This one belongs to Simple Man. He's done some trading around, got a hold of it. In the video, I've shown it run a little bit, but she had a little bit of an air leak, and I've really got to go through this mess. I knew I needed a flat head. Well, there's a scratch, we can use it. We're going to try to find that, figure out if it's an easy fix or if there's other problems wrong with the saw, but I'll about guarantee that it's to do with the plastic clamp flange setup that these have. I guess, you know, maybe it worked good for a few years on the saws, but after heat cycle, the saws getting, you know, getting wear on them, those things just don't hold very well. They were updated. I think that came on the 353. I know the 359 we had here was an EPA saw that belonged to Simple Man, and it had the plastic clamp on it as well, so you know, there's that. So I guess it was updated and put on the 353s is what I'm getting at. But this one, it does start and run. It just acts really lean. You can't tune it out of it. Fuel line out of it, but I can see here it doesn't look bad. It's kind of hard to see the impulse down in there, but she still feels pretty good. And this saw here does indeed have the updated clamp already on it, which means someone's probably already been into it before. I do know for a fact that 359, unless somebody had, you know, maybe put that saw together, I don't know if anyone else had been into it before me. It was the one we got that had the crankshaft broke, that we split and put a crank and bearings and everything in. Done a little mild wood support on it. Pretty good running saw. Those do have the newer style cylinder. This one indeed, I know it was a concern. I doubt you can see in there, but she does have the outbound transfers like a 372 or a 346. So I highly doubt the intake boot clamp is leaking just by looking at it. The problem may lie in the carburetor, which means if we spray around here and don't find nothing, I'll probably just order a carburetor kit for it and go from there. This will be a short video, but you know, we may get our little scope out. I bought one. I've used it very little just for inspecting cylinders. Have a look inside and make sure that nothing's scored up. You know, figure out what's wrong with this thing, why it won't fatten up. But it does have the limiter tab still in the car, but stock saw, you should be able to get the run rips with the limiters in the car, but you know, it makes sense to you guys. But I just wonder what muffler this one has. I might see a problem there. Now, I just wonder if this is one of the EPA mufflers. Not for sure. I wouldn't think the 357 would have that, but let's see if it'll fire up. I've got a can of brake clean here. We'll just go around, spray here and there, and see if we can get it to... It is kind of hard on a Husky to get the flywheel side because they throw stuff everywhere. May end up with some up in the bottom of the air filter and kind of cause it to act a little funny. Holy crap. It was on there, Steve. Let's fire it up, see how she does. You want to always make sure that your bar nuts are tight. I've lost so many bar nuts in this shop. It just ain't even funny. There's your hillbilly compression test, Doug. I did see that the other day. I thought it was funny. For what that saw is, I would say that's about pretty good. Let's smash the decomp in and try it again. Anyway, back to what I was doing. We will put a gauge on it and check everything on it. 6 pulls, that's not half-assed bad. These air filters come off really similar to a 372. You got that little flip. I really wasn't wanting to take that flip off. Let's see if we get it to go back in its home down here. We make sure I've got plenty of fuel in this. Let's give it a little more. Make sure we ain't just got a lean condition over a... I'm feeling in there trying to get a hold of the fuel line to see what it feels like. There's one long ass fuel line. It's not half bad. Strainer looks clean. That's probably not an issue. Those Husqvarna fuel line seems to last a long time. I ain't really got a problem with the Farmer Tech fuel line. I meant to, by now maybe you've seen an unboxing video if I decided to show it. Maybe not, the way the YouTube's working these days. I know everybody got that big spike in comments overnight. This is the day after that. You know, that's just some craziness really, because, you know, that messes with a lot of people. I read through and there was actually comments where I hadn't replied back and the person got mad and said they were going to leave. This was like, I think it was like 7 months ago. It was also the same guy came back later and went trolling the channel, so the hell with him, he can go anyway. But that does mess with people. You know, I've left comments on people's channels and they never reply, and I'm like, well, hell, you know, that's weird. And, you know, there's regulars on everyone's channel, and when you don't see them in the comments, you're like, well, damn, did I say something to make that person mad? You know, it just makes you sit and think. I don't lose any sleep over it or anything, but it does make you think and wonder. Hopefully they get everything together. I know, including myself, my view count was cut down to a third on the long format videos. We went from over like anywhere from 300 to 1,000 views to a video. I'm lucky if I get 100, 150 views on something. Some do better than others, but I've even noticed it on the larger channels. Their views ain't near what they used to be, and it was kind of after the whole shorts deal came in. From what little research I've been doing and some people that I follow and watch that are in the know, they are trying to get it all lined out, so hopefully things go back to normal. And by the time you've seen this, we should have been at 2,000 subs, and people highly appreciate that. I never thought this channel would get to there, but things are going to get better. I would really like to get some good content out there that'll help people, or maybe steer them away from methods they've been using, to where you know, maybe they'll like their saw a little better, or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just try something different. But anyway, let's see if we can get it fired back up. sucking air at the front of this boot, and it's sucking air at the back of the boot. So I guess what I need to do is pull it all apart and have a look. I do have a new boot here in the flange, and I don't have a new flange, but I have a new boot and partition. But this already has the new updated partition. But I've shown it enough. I don't know if I showed it, but I found a place selling the new updated partition that actually has like a hose clamp, like your 372, or like on your steel saws. It tightens up the screwdriver instead of this stupid. I hate that damn metal clamp that snaps together. Me personally, I have to have the cylinder off of the saw to put it on. I'm sure Husqvarna probably has a special pair of pliers that just snaps the thing right into place, but they can be a pain in the ass, and 9 people out of 10 I've seen use them don't like the damn things. I don't know if you guys noticed that handlebar, but man, I really like that. I think he told me he took I know Ben Hall had a video showing to do this. I think he said he used parachute cord or something maybe and wrapped around the bar, and then I think he said this was hockey stick tape. But guys, that feels awesome and it looks good too. That could be a solution to the old Mac 1010 handlebars or the home lights. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You guys have seen me pull these saws down so many times. I'm just going to pull the carb intake boot and everything off of it and have a look, and then I'm going to bring you guys back and let you know what I found out. But we definitely got, what's funny is my 351 had the same air leak right in here. I've still not got that saw lined out. I've got the idle fixed on it, but it's still going lean in the cut. It about has to be something in the carburetor, or maybe I've seen crank seals once you make a cut and they get up to full operating temperature, kind of hot, you know, go to losing their seal. But I don't know, I've hosed that thing down around each seal and they seem to be a-okay. But anyway, I'll bring you guys back in a few. Well guys, the first thing I found was there's fines all behind that, so it's not sealing so hot at the carb flange for some reason. This could be as simple as just cleaning that up and fixing things. But man, I've got one of these back there in a box somewhere. There's fines all down in there, honestly. Hopefully they've not made it to the cylinder, but I'm willing to bet just updating to I know doing the whole track is an update on a 350 or 346, but I'm about willing to bet this update into this boot and flange and sleeve by itself. I have one back here, but I really can't use it because I have a 359 project that it's gonna be a 357 when it's done. I'm probably even gonna shell out the $190 for an OEM cylinder for it. If I can get, I think a Meteor's about 140, a Highway's somewhere in that range. You may as well spend the extra $40 and get the OEM. But I've got to kind of let go of some other saws to fund that project and some others, but that'll be sometime this fall or winter, I guess. But it's fall already, but you guys know what I mean. What I would like to do, it's something I told Simple Man I was going to do. We all know these things were Husky's factory hot rods. I think anybody that knows anything at all about saws kind of knows that. Or, you know, at least ways that's what I've been told and what research I've done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut you guys back off and we're going to get set up here, and I'm going to pull the muffler so we can have a look in there as well. And we're gonna see what kind of port timing's on a stock 357, because who knows, probably never see one again. I don't know. I'd really love to have one. If one of you fellas has one and there's something in any of my videos and all of this collection of mess I've got that you'd like to have, let me know. I'm sure we can do some trading, but if not, you know, we're just going to do our 359, convert it back over. But I'll bring you guys back once we get set up. Alright guys, got the timing numbers on it, and if some of you other guys have timed these and got something similar, let me know. I am using the degree finder after that last video Dino Joe put out. That made things a lot easier. I've had it here but for a while, a couple months or so, but I'd only been using it to check intake duration. But the way he showed to set that thing up, I kind of felt stupid after watching it, really. I've been trying to find very, very true top dead center and zeroing it out, but the way he showed to do it was just super freaking simple. Whatever it is, what it is, we all learn shit. But anyway, numbers are interesting. She's got a low roof, short blowdown. Don't have a whole lot of intake timing. And this is what I'm coming up with. You know, and I may check things differently, but probably pretty close to what anyone else would get. 36 thousandths squish, I think we about all check that same way. I do check it right over top of the wrist pin, and after I've done machine work, hell, I'll check it everywhere on each corner. But that means pulling the gasket may make this a little tight. Probably have to do some sort of machine work one way or the other to get things to clear, and you know, we'll get some pretty good boost in compression at that. Exhaust roof 108, transfers 124. 16 degree blow down saw right out of the gate, and these things were rated to turn 15,000 RPMs. So you guys just use that food for thought. I ain't trying to steer no one away from what way port work they're doing, but in the last, I'm gonna say 2 years, 2.5 years, my port work's changed a little bit, not a lot, but I learned really early that I didn't like a saw with long blow down. I learned that probably within the first 1.5 to 2 years of doing this. There's just reasons behind it. I ain't gonna get into details or start any drama or arguments. Some people can make power that way. I'm not a fan of it. It is what it is, and these were, everybody knows, these are Husky's factory hot rod, and there's your timing numbers on it. What I would do with this, I'd pull the base gasket, do what machining I needed to do to get my squish back. In all honesty, I'd probably set the exhaust roof somewhere back close to where it was at there. Maybe not quite 108, but I don't know. Transfers, I'd shoot back for that short blow down again, and I'd push the intake on up closer to 80 degrees. And to my understanding, these saws respond like super well to just basic mods, and I mean basic mods like a muffler mod, timing advance, a little bit of intake timing. You know, we'll just have to see. But when I pull it down and go into it, I'm going, you know, once I pull the cylinder off, I'm going to do what work I'm going to do. I'm not going to pull the cylinder off one 3 or 4 times just to, you know, show 5% worth of gains here and there. But we probably will do a muffler mod. It does have a EPA muffler on it, sadly, but I've kind of found a way around that. Instead of going in and hacking all of that out, you can just do your muffler mod at the back side of the muffler on my left side of the muffler, and it's back behind all of that mess, and it opens them up. But we'll probably go on the route of doing a deflector on this one just to keep it and make it look nice and neat. But that'll probably be the first things we do to it, as a muffler mod and time in advance. But the main thing I'm going to do right now is get the carb boot and flange and all of that cleaned up and get it back together. I'm going to pull the limiters out of it and see if we can get this thing to run a little richer, so we can get it out and see how she runs. But once I get all that done, I'll bring you guys back. Probably never ever pick up. I was about to put this ring back in and I felt the place in it. It's got a little burr on it. Who knows if that had anything to do with the little air leak it had. I was really having to hose it down to get it to choke up and about die. But we're going to take a flat file to this and file it out. And I may put a little dab of Moto Seal just around the outer edge of that ring, just in case, and maybe a little inside. And I'm going to pull the limiter tabs on the carb and get her put back together and see what we've got. Okay guys, this is the same log we ran the other saws in. I'm just going to set my hands up here, give you an idea of the size of it. I know the camera, it's hard to tell. It's longer this way than it is this way. It really doesn't matter, you're still cutting the log. I've got the carb, I think, tuned in pretty good. We'll see. It'd be cool to compare it against the other saws we done the other day. I think the 1010 was about 3/10 faster than the steel, but it had a pretty rich tune in it. It's possible for it to be faster is what I'm getting at, but we'll see how this 357 does. I'm expecting it to beat those other saws pretty good, but we'll see. Idling needs back down on it here, but that's a good strong running saw to be stock, and you can tell I've got the blubber up top a little rich on it, but sometimes they like a little more fuel is what I'm learning, other than completely lean 104 stroke at all. But yeah, she's a good runner. The only thing I found I didn't like when I went back together when I'll order one, the carb flange. It's a bolt on this side. Every one that I find that way, they just don't want to get as tight as they should, if that makes sense. It ain't necessarily completely stripped out, I just can't get it to tighten down as snug as I would like it. But she's running pretty good, doesn't really seem to have any real air leaks or anything. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this and hope y'all all have a great day.